Coming up on Naperville News 17, extra event funding opens up with the departure of Rib Fest and Chris Kindle Market. District 204 does away with half days, and a Naperville sneakerhead turns high tops into high profits. Hello everyone, I'm Kim Pierce. Thanks for joining us for this week's Naperville News. The departure of two big events from Naperville has left extra funds to be reallocated by the Special Events and Cultural Amenities Commission. Naperville News 17's Christine Lena has the details.
$227,000 for Naperville Rib Fest now waits to have a purpose as the festival moves to Romeoville next year. The Special Events and Cultural Amenities, or SECA Commission, recently discussed how to best reallocate those funds.
But I think what we want to do is leverage the funding that we have available to implement changes in who actually comes in with applications or what kind of programs or events come in.
The group discussed how to best focus the grant money by being fair to previous applicants, yet still draw in new events and initiatives.
I would promote that one, either it's a totally new initiative, which we know we get very few, or existing recipients who are going to expand a program that we enjoy so that we can see a rationale for giving them more money to continue to grow their program.
The commission ultimately approved setting 1/3 of funds to new initiatives, 1/3 to fulfill requests that lack funding, as well as 1/3 to expanding current programs and events. The SECA fund comes from the 1% citywide food and beverage tax. The group plans to discuss further details on that vote at their next meeting. And the commission has another set of funds to reallocate this year. $70,000 sits on the table from Chris Kindle Market leaving Neighbor Settlement this winter. $15,000 of that sum has already paid for police, fire, and public works services for the WGN block party. That leaves $55,000 for the commission to look at with three options.
We have sit on it and let it go to 2021. We have a city service option, whatever form that may be. And we have a let's go revisit and find an organization that we would want to allocate it to. And if we will go down that road, that will open up that door of however many doors.
One of the organizations that grant money could go to is the Little Friends Parade of Lights. Jason Altenburn from Little Friends proposed the idea at the meeting, asking for $25,000. While it was well received, the commission felt it may not be fair to make the decision right away, before revisiting other organizations if they choose to go down that path. The commission pushed their final decision to their next meeting, which has yet to be scheduled. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Christine Lena.
SECA's final recommendation will advise Naperville City Council members on how to use the funds. NCTV 17 is partially funded by a grant from SECA. Jeopardy James will be returning to Jeopardy! It's been announced that Naperville native James Holzhauer will compete on the show's Tournament of Champions in November. Holzhauer will join 14 other top players, including Emma Betcher, who famously ended his 32-game streak. The grand prize for this playoff is $250,000. Not bad, but a far cry from the more than $2.4 million he netted during his run on the show earlier this year. Holzhauer holds the record for second highest earnings on a regular show run and the top 16 slots for highest earnings during a single episode. The president and CEO of Edward Hospital is retiring at the end of September. Bill Kottman is stepping down from the position he's held since July 1st, 2016. He's served in senior executive roles for both the hospital and Edward Elmhurst Health for 28 years. Taking his place will be Joe Dant, who is the current executive vice president, physician and ambulatory network of Edward Elmhurst Health. Kottman's last day will be September 30th. The American Red Cross is facing a critical nationwide blood supply shortage. One look around a donation center will prove it. And the main reason for that is summer, a historically low time for blood donations.
Summer is dry because, let's face it, it's nice out, especially here in Chicago. We had a very long winter. So they want to be outside doing things, and the last thing they think of is coming inside to donate blood. We want to make it the first thing they think of.
Vitalant also finds that longtime donors are trailing off.
Many of our historic donors are older. So I'll call it aging out. They can no longer donate for a variety of reasons. We need a lot more younger people to donate.
One way they're encouraging those donations is with a $10 gift card for every donation given.
Actually, every 2 seconds, somebody needs blood in the U.S. Every 2 seconds. So that's about as long as it took me to say that phrase. It's important that everybody come and donate blood because blood also has a shelf life. Without you donating blood, there isn't blood on the shelves tomorrow when it's needed.
Platelet and plasma are needed as well. These critical donations are helpful for more than just emergencies. They're also used in instances like transfusions, chemotherapy, anemia, and sickle cell disease. Last year, blood centers like LifeSource united with 9 other brands under the name Vitalent. You can learn how to sign up to donate blood at a local center on their website. After the break, meet the new leader at the library.
From practice to homework to home improvement to bills, your days are busy. That's why Busey offers innovative financial solutions like our mobile app. Deposit checks, transfer funds, and keep your financial life in order, no matter where you are. Whether you're saving for college, keeping the family in the family business, or planning your dream retirement, Busey's your trusted partner to make your personal, business, and wealth management dreams a reality. Busey, your dream, our promise.
NCTV17.com is the best place for you to stay up to date on your neighborhood happenings. Get your local news and sports all on the go by signing up for our daily news update. Naperville Community Television, keeping you informed.
District 204's draft budget brings in new teachers and mental health resources for the students. Naperville News 17's Christian Kenazal gives us the details.
At the latest school board district meeting, Chief School Business Official Jay Strang presented a draft budget for 2020 and credited Illinois' evidence-based funding for helping provide the district with new resources.
We've hired 17 additional elementary teachers to work with larger classes and at-risk populations. We've hired 6 new instructional coaches, 1.5 additional elementary mental health staff, and 3 new high school mental health coordinators. 204
is projected to receive $800,000 from the state this year. The district's operations and maintenance capital outlay has tripled since EBF was implemented in 2017, allowing them to work on projects like installing air conditioning units throughout the district. Total projected operating funds are around $357 million, which is up from last year's tentative budget by more than $16 million. But so are projected expenditures, sitting near $356 million. Those numbers could change if the state decides to pass Senate Bill 690, which would freeze property taxes.
The downside for that is that's our most reliable source of income, and what would likely happen is that the money would go down to Springfield and it would be allocated, and it would be allocated across the state. And I think, I don't think 100% of the money that came from our community down to the state of Illinois would come back to us.
This could be a problem for the district since property taxes make up 79% of 204's local revenue. Strang will present a tentative budget to the board on August 12th and will be up for public review until September 23rd. For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Kenazal.
Also at the meeting, District 204 voted unanimously to drop half-days from their 2019-2020 school calendar. The elimination comes after new state legislation, which allows for a bit more flexibility on how schools set up their Teacher Institute days and outside of the classroom learning.
The legislation was passed on June 7th. The governor signed it on June 7th and became effective July 1st. So this is our first opportunity to amend it, and so we ask for you to do that so that we can communicate this to our parents as quickly as possible.
The board agreed that no one likes half-days, with board member Kathy Peel pointing out that attendance was lower during those days. The district will combine previously scheduled half-days to make them into full days. August 19th will still be the first day of school, and tentatively May 28th is scheduled to be the last day. And don't worry about your spring break plans, as the March 30th through April 8th dates remain the same. The board is also thinking about adding e-learning days so students won't have to make up emergency weather days at the end of the school year. Naperville Public Library's longtime executive director, Julie Rothenflew, stepped down earlier this year. leaving the position vacant. After a nationwide search, the library looked inward and found their new director. Dave Delaturza is the newest executive director. The 12-year Naperville Library vet stepped into his new position about a month ago and will carry the mantle left behind by his former boss.
It's been really, really nice working with Julie, and she's been someone that's been here and done such amazing things here. And I think I've learned a lot from her, and I think hopefully I can help continue all of the great things that she's helped put in place here.
Delaturza began his library career as a computer assistant in 2006 and eventually worked his way up to deputy director in 2017. In his new position, the Neuqua Valley graduate hopes to build strong community relationships by partnering up with organizations like the school districts and park district. He also wants the library to continue to be a community hub.
There's so few places left where you can interact with people. You can just go do what it is that you want to do, and it's a free place you can go to. You can meet a friend there, you can study there. We're more increasingly, we're more online. We're on our phones, we're on the computer, we're sending emails, texts, and I think people want that human interaction, and the library is a place where they really can get that.
Delaturza says he wants to continue to expand community events like the upcoming party that shall not be named. As for creative projects, the Naperville Public Library is upcycling damaged books to give them a new chapter in life. With some pots, plants, and pages, the Recycled Book Creations Club got to decorate their own succulent planters for an afternoon summer activity at Nichols Library.
I just like that it's kind of relaxing and you get to come home with something cool.
The Teen Club creates more than just planters with book pages. They'll also be making necklaces on July 17th and hedgehogs on August 7th. Registration for those events are on the library's website. Coming up, the search is on for that wily Waldo.
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something. Be a Naperville Crime Stopper.
Welcome to Ted's Montana Grill, where Naperville meets the spirit of the American West. Pour over a menu as vast as the American plains that inspired it. The foundation of their menu is bison. Whether you try a signature burger or a perfectly grilled bison steak, you'll wonder where this meat has been all your life. Not only does Ted's deliver on the food, they deliver on hospitality too.
It's the question many kids like to ask. Where's Waldo? So Anderson's Bookshop is bringing the hunt for Waldo from the page to the streets. For the 8th year, the sneaky red and white striped fellow is hiding out at 30 local businesses around town. Just pick up a passport from Anderson's Bookshop to help you navigate.
And then you just go from store to store and you hunt for the Waldo cutout, which it's not usually this easy to have it right here in front of us. But here's Waldo, and here's his kind of evil twin, Oddlaw. And they're both hidden in our stores, and then you need to look for them. And it's as easy as can be.
If you find 12 cutouts and return your passport to Anderson's by the end of the month, you'll be put in a raffle to win prizes. The search is part of the nationwide campaign, Where's Waldo on Main Street, USA, run by Candlewick Press and the American Booksellers Association. Look closely, you never know where he might pop up. The wrap-up party with a raffle to win prizes will be held August 2nd. It's the dog days of summer, so what better time to take your best friend on a walk? And you can do just that at the Downtown Naperville to Boston's weekly community dog walk. The Popular group meets every Thursday for an evening stroll near the Riverwalk.
So it's about a 45-minute walk, so it's great, like how she's trying to sniff everything, but just socializing, especially for the new pups or the dogs that are still learning their ways, so just great for socialization.
Getting your furry friends some exercise is important, because if you don't, they can show signs of physical frustrations.
They become very bored, and once they're bored, they're destructive. So they're going to be chewing on your couch, chewing on your shoes, anything like that. So getting them out on the walks where they're using their nose to smell around, to play around with other dogs, it keeps them busy, and then they'll get tired, and so it just it helps get their brain moving.
The walk takes dog lovers to Centennial Beach and back to two Bostons, but not before making some stops at the Jaycees Park and near the Carillon. The group meets every Thursday, weather permitting, at 6:30 p.m., and walks will continue through October. You might not mind being in this teen's shoes. He's made a unique business out of a passion for sneakers. Naperville News 17's Christian Kenizal has his story.
So probably like 3 or 4 years back when I was in Cleveland, my friends and I went to a shoe store called Restock Cleveland, and that's where my love for shoes began.
And from there, Will's love turned into a hobby, collecting exclusive shoes and merchandise. He eventually saw an opportunity to turn his passion into a source of revenue.
I can sell this pair for probably like $540, this pair for $900 to $950, this pair probably around $1,100. This pair I got offers of close to $800, and I have offers of over $1,000 on this pair.
You heard right. Those 5 pairs of shoes have a combined value well north of $4,000. Potential profits like this prompted the young entrepreneur to create his own small business, Relaunch Souls. Using a makeshift photography booth, he posts his photos onto Instagram where buyers can purchase his shoes.
I always have to make it look good, or else it just bugs me. So I literally take sometimes I've taken up to 50 photos just trying to get the perfect shot.
Will compares his business to trading stocks. He buys limited shoes at retail prices and sells them at a higher rate in the secondary market.
These I paid $270 and just sold them today for $550. These I paid $950 for, and now they're sitting at about like $1,400–1,500.
As a collector himself, Will sometimes dives into the secondary market for his own shoes. Getting the shoes at retail is the hardest part because shoe apparel companies like Nike release limited shoes on their website for everyone to buy. But luckily, Will has some helpful hands.
I have an app on my phone, and he has it all set up with what size he wants, and typically they're at 9 o'clock, so of course he's at school and he can't do it, so he's texting me saying, don't forget, at 10 to 9, don't forget, the shoe's gonna drop, and then I basically just have to hit a button, and then if I get them, I get them, and then I have to do the CAPTCHA. That's the hardest part.
And Will's business doesn't just include shoes, but also clothes and items like Supreme stickers that can sell for $100. And the sneakerhead sees himself growing into even bigger shoes.
Where I see myself in a few years, probably like in college, either reselling on the side or having a good job at like either a sneaker store or having like a good business experience from this to create my own business and be successful from there.
For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Kenizal.
In total, Will has spent around $50,000 on his business, but has made over $65,000. Not too bad for a 16-year-old. Up next, we remember an outstanding Naperville Central grad whose show of strength inspired a community.
In Naperville, we know that community counts. In fact, it's in our name. As Naperville Community Television, we have the privilege of showcasing what makes this award-winning city a wonderful place to raise a family, to make a living, and to enjoy life's journey. That's why it's our mission to capture on camera those special moments that connect us, those stories that impact our lives, stories you won't see anywhere else. So watch Naperville Community Television on air, online, and on social media.
It's going to take someplace special to stand out in Freedom Commons, and Shinto Sushi is up to the challenge. You get the highest quality service and amazing ambiance. Shinto Sushi Freedom Commons takes their plate presentation to the next level. From the bento box lunch specials, to the exquisite sashimi plates, to teriyaki platters, to new twists on Japanese classics. Shinto Freedom Commons masters the art of service and Japanese cuisine.
It's the 4th of July. Many people are crowding around grills or dipping their feet in the pool, But the Naperville Bike Club is here at the 4th of July Century, hosted by the Joliet Bike Club.
It's good. You'll see a lot of people that you rode with at other events, so you'll meet back up with them. Last year we did a North Shore Century. It was 100 miles. Went up to Wisconsin. We meet other clubs there also, like the Elmhurst Club. It's fun.
Don Gulata is the vice president of the Naperville Bike Club, in existence since the 1980s. Daryl Mungie is the president, has been for 2 years, and he enjoys the easy nature of it.
I discovered that it was more than just get on your bike and go ride fast and come back. It's a very social group. There's actually no obligations. It's, hey, come out and ride bikes. We all love it.
Dues are only $25 a person per year, or $35 for a family. There's roughly 120 people in the club, and guests are always coming on bike rides.
Our club encourages guests. So I just showed up at a ride. And I was worried because I was just starting to ride, and they're like, oh yeah, we're like riding at this speed and we're going to go 20 miles or something. And I'm like, oh no, I wonder if I can do that.
In fact, 20 is actually a minor blip now, with Mungie and his fellow club members recently riding 100, something that wouldn't be possible without the right gear.
The first thing is the shorts, right? And because it's got the padding in it. And that makes, we like padding.
All clear! And while he jokes about the padding in the shorts, the need for good equipment is real, just like any other sport.
You want to go out, you want to ride, you want to be comfortable, you don't want to injure anything. But that's one of the things I like about the bicycling is that, one, I'm a terrible runner, never been a good runner. And also, it's real low impact.
The club, as Mungie tells it, is mostly made up of retirees, much like Gulata.
I started when I retired. I retired 4 years ago. So I decided to get a road bike and join the club and, experience the being together with other people, going different places. We go coffee rides, we go, go get pie somewhere, ride out in the country for 20, 30 miles.
No matter what your age, you're kind of growing into something new, and that's always exciting. Right? It's like, oh man, there's something cool. Oh, now I get to learn about that over there. So you're really enjoying more than just the ride, learning and getting exercise and enjoying the whole thing.
Enjoying it, whether it's 20 miles, 100 miles on a morning in September or on the 4th of July. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Kevin Jackman.
And if you have an idea for a sports story feature, let us know at newstips@nctv17.com. And finally, we take a moment to remember 2015 Naperville Central graduate Justin Wegener. A talented athlete, Justin starred for both the football and baseball teams before in 2016, doctors discovered he had a rare type of soft tissue sarcoma, a form of cancer. The hashtag #JWegStrong became a rallying cry for Justin's fight, as well as cancer awareness.
JWegStrong! JWegStrong!
Drawing the attention of pro athletes like Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, and former Naperville Central star Nikki Lopez. After over 3 years of battling through chemotherapy and radiation, Justin passed away on July 10th at the age of 22. And we share our sympathies with all of Justin's friends and family. That does it for this week's show. Thanks so much for joining us.
This week's Naperville News 17 is brought to you in part by the following sponsors. This program is partially funded by a grant from the City of Naperville.